Hey everyone, welcome to The Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Oma, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. I never thought I'd be standing in my father's living room, staring at the woman who drugged me, and now claims she's carrying my child. The room was dead silent. My dad looked ready to explode, Katie was pacing, and Luna just sat there, clutching her stomach like she was the victim. She said she's changed. That she's a mother now. But all I could think about was how she destroyed everything I had with Electra. I told her straight, I would have never touched her if she hadn't drugged me. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You'll love our child more than you ever loved Electra." And in that moment, I didn't know what scared me more, her words, or the tiny part of me that wondered if she was right. Will confronts a defiant Luna. I never thought I'd find myself standing in my father's living room, the same one where I used to play with toy cars as a kid, facing a woman who almost destroyed my life. The air felt thick that day, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. My father, Bill, stood by the window, his arms crossed, jaw tight. Katie was pacing near the fireplace, muttering something about lunacy and consequences. And Luna, sat there on the sofa, her hands pressed over her stomach like it was a shield. I could feel everyone watching me when I walked in. My footsteps echoed louder than they should have, and the air was heavy with a silence that felt almost electric. Luna looked up at me with those wide, tear-streaked eyes. The same ones that once fooled me into thinking she was just misunderstood. But I knew better now. I knew what she'd done. What she'd taken from me. "Will," she breathed, like my name still belonged to her. "You came." "I didn't come for you," I said, keeping my voice as steady as I could. I glanced at my father. He gave me a slight nod, the kind that said, "Handle this, son. But don't lose control." I looked back at Luna. Her eyes were red, her makeup smudged. But she wasn't broken. Not really. There was still that same defiance, that twisted confidence that always made my skin crawl. "You drugged me," I started, the words coming out harsher than I meant. "You took advantage of me. You destroyed everything I had with Electra. And now you're trying to use this baby," I paused, my throat tightening, "to manipulate us all again." Luna flinched but didn't deny it. "I'm not the same person, Will. I've changed. I'm a mother now." I actually laughed. Bitterly, painfully. "You're pregnant, Luna. That doesn't make you a mother." Katie sighed heavily, crossing her arms. "She's not walking away from this, Will. No baby, no miracle redemption arc is saving her this time." Luna's lips trembled, and for a moment, I thought I saw real fear in her eyes. "You all think I'm some monster," she said softly. "But I just want my baby to have a family. You want control," I interrupted. "That's all you've ever wanted." My dad's voice cut through the room like a blade. "He's right. You don't get to come into this house and pretend this is some kind of redemption story. You're lucky Ridge hasn't called the cops yet." At the mention of Ridge, Luna visibly stiffened. She knew what that meant. Prison. Exposure. No more games. But still, she didn't back down. "You'll change your mind when you see him," she said, looking at me again. "When you see your son." That word, son, hit me like a punch to the gut. Because what if she was right? What if the paternity test came back, and I really was the father? Even after everything she'd done, the thought of a child, my child, somewhere in this chaos, it twisted something deep inside me. My father must have noticed my silence because he stepped forward, placing a heavy hand on my shoulder. "Don't do this to yourself, Will," he murmured. "You know what kind of person she is. Don't let her drag you back down." But Luna smiled faintly, almost like she knew she'd found a crack in my armor. "You'll see," she whispered. "You'll love him more than you ever loved Electra." And that's when something in me snapped. I took a step forward, my voice rising despite the tremor in it. Don't you dare talk about Electra. You don't even deserve to say her name. You ruined her trust in me. You made her believe I betrayed her. And maybe I did, but not by choice. You drugged me, Luna. You took my choices away. The room went still. My father's jaw clenched. Katie looked down, shaking her head. Luna's hands trembled, but she still had that defiant stare, like she was both victim and villain at once. I love her, I said again, quieter this time. I love Electra. And I'll spend every damn day of my life proving that to her. You're just a nightmare I'm trying to wake up from. Luna's eyes filled with tears. Then what about the baby, Will? You're going to hate him because of me. I don't even know if he's mine, I said sharply. And if he is, I'll make sure he's protected. But I'll also make sure he never learns what kind of person you are. Her face twisted in anger then, real, raw fury. You think you can just erase me from his life? You can't. You'll never be free of me, Will. Bill stepped forward. That's enough. His voice boomed through the room. You're done here, Luna. You've made your mess. Now you deal with it. Luna turned toward him, her eyes wild. You think you can control me, Bill Spencer? You can't control love. Katie laughed bitterly. Love. You call what you did love? Drugging his drink, lying about your past, almost killing Steffi. Yeah, real romantic. Luna's expression hardened. You'll see, she said, looking at me one last time. He'll choose his child. He'll choose me. And with that, she walked out. No tears. No apology. Just that same twisted pride that made my stomach turn. When the door slammed behind her, it felt like the whole house exhaled. My dad looked at me, his expression softening. You okay, son? I nodded, even though I wasn't. Not even close. Because as much as I wanted to believe she was lying, as much as I needed to believe that, there was still that small, cruel voice in the back of my head whispering, what if she's not? After Luna stormed out of my father's house, everything went quiet, the kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful. It felt heavy, suffocating, like the air was full of all the things no one wanted to say. Bill poured himself a drink, the sound of ice clinking in the glass echoing through the room. We'll get the paternity test results soon, he said, his voice low but firm. Whatever happens, we'll deal with it. But that wasn't what I wanted to hear. I didn't want to deal with it. I wanted to erase it. To pretend that night never happened, that Luna never came into my life. But the truth was, her shadow was everywhere. I ran a hand through my hair, pacing the room. What if it's mine, Dad? I asked, my voice breaking a little. What if I really am the father? He looked at me for a long time before answering. Then you'll handle it like a man. You'll take care of the child, but that doesn't mean you have to let her back into your life. Katie sat down on the couch, shaking her head. That woman doesn't deserve another chance. Don't let her use this baby to chain you to her. She's dangerous, Will. She always has been. Dangerous. Yeah, that was one word for it. I could still remember the first time I met Luna. The soft smile, the way she'd listened when no one else seemed to care. I'd been under pressure at Forrester, trying to prove myself, and she'd shown up like this mysterious, comforting presence. She'd made me feel seen. But now, thinking back, I realized every word, every smile, every touch was calculated. She knew exactly what she was doing. I left my dad's house not long after that. I couldn't breathe in there anymore. I needed to see Electra, or at least try to. When I pulled up to her place, I just sat in the car for a while, staring at the lights in her window. I knew Ivy was probably inside. She'd been staying close lately, whispering in Electra's ear, reminding her of all the reasons she shouldn't forgive me. Ivy had always been like that. Protective, but a little too eager to stir things up. I finally got out, my legs feeling like lead. I knocked, and after a few seconds, Electra opened the door. Her face. God, I'd missed that face. But it wasn't the same anymore. Her eyes were tired, guarded. She didn't smile. "Will," she said quietly, "what are you doing here?" "I needed to see you," I said. I needed to explain. "I already know," she replied, crossing her arms. "Luna's pregnant." I winced. Hearing it out loud felt like being punched in the gut. "We don't know if it's mine yet. There's a test." "And if it is?" she interrupted. "What then?" I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Because the truth was, I didn't have an answer. From the corner of the living room, Ivy appeared, arms folded, her expression dripping with judgment. "You should go, Will," she said coldly. "You've done enough damage." "I'm not talking to you," I snapped, turning back to Electra. "Please, just give me a chance to." "To what?" Ivy cut in. "To twist her head again? To make her believe you're the victim in all this? You think we don't know what happened at that party? You lied to her, Will. You kept that night a secret." "I didn't lie," I said, my voice rising. "I didn't tell her because I was ashamed, because I didn't even know what Luna had done until it was too late." Electra's voice was softer now, almost trembling. "And yet you still slept with her." The words hit me harder than I expected. I took a step closer, desperate for her to understand. "Electra, listen to me. I didn't choose that night. I was drugged. I swear to you, I didn't even remember half of it until Luna started bragging about it later. She planned it. She wanted this." Her eyes filled with tears. "I want to believe you," she whispered. "I really do. But every time I close my eyes, I see her holding her stomach and saying she's carrying your baby." I felt my throat close up. "If it's mine, I'll take care of it. But you're the one I love, Electra. You're the one I've always loved." For a moment, she didn't move. I thought maybe I'd reached her. But then Ivy stepped closer, her voice dripping with poison. "Love doesn't erase consequences, Will. You made your bed." I turned to her, anger boiling up inside me. "You don't get to talk about consequences, Ivy. You've been manipulating everyone since the start. You're enjoying this, seeing us fall apart." Her expression didn't change. "I'm protecting my friend," she said simply. I wanted to shout at her, to tell her she was making everything worse. But then I looked at Electra again, and saw how tired she looked. How lost. "I'll go," I said quietly. "But please, just don't give up on us yet." She didn't respond. She just closed the door slowly, gently, like she was trying not to break something fragile. The click of the latch echoed in my chest. I stood there for a long time, staring at the wood grain of that door, feeling like the whole world had caved in on me. Then I walked away. That night, I barely slept. I kept replaying everything in my head: Luna's smirk, Electra's tears, Ivy's glare. The guilt gnawed at me like a wild animal. I'd hurt everyone I cared about, even if I hadn't meant to. Around 3 in the morning, I found myself driving aimlessly through the city, just trying to think. The streets were empty, the neon lights casting this eerie glow on the pavement. I parked near the beach and got out, the cold wind cutting through my shirt. I stood there, staring at the waves crashing against the shore, and for the first time in a long time, I felt completely alone. I thought about what Finn had said earlier that day, how Luna was manipulating everyone, how she was dangerous. And he was right. But what scared me most wasn't her. It was me. The part of me that still felt something. Not love, but fear, maybe guilt, maybe pity. The part that couldn't completely hate her. What if the baby really was mine? What if it wasn't her fault? I hated myself for even thinking that. But that's the thing about guilt. It doesn't care about logic. It seeps into everything until you start doubting your own reality. My phone buzzed. It was a text from my dad. "Bill, Ridge wants to press charges. Stay out of it for now. Bill, don't go near Luna again." I stared at the screen for a long time. But all I could think about was the look on Luna's face when she said, "You'll love him more than you ever loved Electra." Because deep down, I was terrified she might be right. Back at the Forrester offices the next morning, things were tense. Everyone was whispering, watching me like I was some walking scandal. The moment I walked into my office, Ridge was waiting. "Close the door," he said. His tone wasn't angry, it was worse. Controlled. Cold. I did as he said. "You know what Luna did," he began. "You know what she's capable of. And now she's using you to get out of this." "I know," I said quietly. "Do you?" He stepped closer. "Because from where I'm standing, you're still protecting her." "I'm not," I snapped. I can't stop thinking about the baby." Ridge shook his head. "You're not the first man she's trapped with a lie. Don't fall for it." "I'm not falling for anything." He sighed, rubbing his temples. "Look, Will, you're young. You made a mistake. But now you need to make it right. Not just for you, but for Electra. For everyone Luna hurt." His words hit me like cold water. "And what if the test proves it's mine?" "Then you take care of your responsibility," he said. "But you don't let that woman anywhere near you again. Ever." I nodded, though inside I felt like I was falling apart. As soon as he left, I sat down at my desk, buried my face in my hands, and tried to breathe. But the air felt thick, heavy, full of ghosts.